Chapter 8. I woke up the next morning a little before sunrise. I noticed the light was on in the bathroom and the door was closed. I didn't know how long Gabby had been awake, but it seemed like a good time for me to get up too. Plus, I had to pee. I got out of bed, slipped my pants on, and shuffled over to the bathroom door. "Good morning, Gabby," I said. The door popped open a few inches, and I saw she had wet hair and a towel wrapped around her body. "Good morning. I will be out of here in 5 minutes if you need to use the bathroom." "That's fine. I can wait." It wasn't fine because the urge to pee increased tenfold after getting out of bed, but I didn't want to tell her that. True to her word, she emerged 5 minutes later, dressed and with her hair combed. She had not yet put on her makeup, but I thought she looked beautiful without it. We smiled at each other as we exchanged places, but said nothing. After relieving myself, I took a shower and got ready to go. When I finished brushing my teeth, shaving, and getting dressed, Gabby was almost ready to go. The sun was up by then, and I was anxious to get started. "I've been thinking," I said. "I remember the water being on my right as we were driving to the boat, so I think we need to head south." "That makes our job a little easier," Gabby said as we got into the car. I searched for marinas on my phone after we got into the car and found 4 very close to each other, about 5 minutes away. The first was just a boat ramp, so we didn't bother getting out of the car. We did stop for the next one. We got out and walked down the docks looking for a boat with the word Heaven on it. It was a small marina, perhaps 30 boats, maybe more, but none had the word Heaven or any other divine name on it. The next 2 marinas also did not have the boat we were looking for. By the time we were back on the road, my stomach was growling, and I said, "I think we should stop for breakfast soon. I'm getting hungry." "I'm getting hungry too," Gabby said. "Do you know a good place to eat around here?" "I used to," I said, hoping it was still there. "You should turn right ahead and drive toward the beach. We need to go that way anyway." After crossing the bridge and driving down the causeway to Clearwater Beach, we turned and headed down the coast for a block or 2. There, directly across from the public beach, was the place I was looking for. It was a small bar and grill called the Crotchety Crab, or something similar. I've eaten there a dozen times and could never remember the name. "Turn left here," I said. Gabby turned down the nearest side street, and we parked the car and walked to the restaurant. Fortunately, they were still serving breakfast, and we were able to get a table outside. It was a bit chilly when we left the hotel, but the temperature had now warmed up to just about perfect. The menu offered several alcoholic options for breakfast, but I was never much of a drinker, so I ordered an omelet and a coffee. I didn't drink coffee before college, but Lisa did, so I started drinking it with her. Now I feel like my morning is incomplete without it. Gabby ordered waffles and orange juice. While we waited for our food, we sat and watched all the beachgoers go by. We talked too. Gabby commented about how lucky I was to live near the beach. "I was lucky," I said, with the stress on was. I don't think I would use that word to describe my current situation. "Sorry, I know your life is pretty screwed up right now, but that won't last forever. A year from now, you will probably look back on this time as a great adventure." "I hope you're right." I do feel like I'm starting to accept who I am, even though I don't know who that is, and I could not have come this far without your help. Gabby was about to say something when our waitress showed up with our drinks. "Here you go," she said. "Your food will be out shortly." I thanked her, and as she walked away, Gabby said, "I have enjoyed our time together. I think I needed this almost as much as you." "That makes me feel better," I said. "I just feel a little guilty because you have done so much for me, but I have been unable to do anything for you." We were again interrupted by another woman, not our waitress, who put our food on the table and asked if we needed anything else. "No," I said. "Thank you." When she walked away, I said, "Where were we?" "We were about to enjoy our breakfast." I sensed Gabby was uncomfortable with the topic, so I let it go. We finished breakfast without saying much, except for some small talk. We put the top down on the Mustang when we left the restaurant because it was such a beautiful day. We backtracked a few blocks to check out the marinas we had passed an hour earlier. We stopped first at the city's main marina on the island. We walked from one end to the other, but did not find what we were looking for. We did see one boat called Heaven's Bait, but it was a fishing charter boat. We then returned to the car and checked out the other 3 marinas in the area. None of the marinas had a boat with the word Heaven on it. We continued south, checking out every marina on each island we came upon. After several hours, I decided that we had gone too far. "It has to be closer than this," I said to Gabby. "We either missed it, it is no longer at the same marina, or the correct marina is on the mainland." "We didn't miss anything," she said. "They may have moved it, but if they did, we would never find it. So let's assume it's on the mainland and check out those marinas." It was well past lunch, and I was getting hungry, so I said, "I agree, but let's stop for a bite to eat first." We were both anxious to find the boat before we had to return to the hotel, so we decided to go through the first drive-thru we came across. That happened to be a McDonald's, which is not my favorite, but it was better than being hungry. We ordered a couple of cheeseburgers and fries and quickly ate them on our way to the next marina, which was not far. The marina was relatively small, with about 40 slips, but a few of them were empty. We saw no sign of the boat we were looking for. It suddenly occurred to me that some empty slips probably were the home of boats that were out doing what boats do. "What if we missed the boat because it's out on the water?" I said. "Unlikely," Gabby said. "Boats are expensive to operate. If you were in hiding, where would you get the money to go boating? I'm sure your father's accounts are being watched, so he needs to be frugal with the cash that he has." I hadn't thought of that. "Good point," I said as we made our way back to the car. We then drove to the last marina in the area. I was starting to feel like we needed to take a break, so when we parked the car, I said to Gabby, "We should call it a day after this one." Gabby just nodded in agreement, and we both got out of the car. I believe the marina was called Bay Point Marina. It was a little bigger and more modern than most marinas we saw that day. It even had a restaurant and tiki bar as well as a store. We made our way to the boats and started reading names. About halfway down the first row of boats, I noticed a small cabin cruiser resembling Dr. Bill's boat. "This one," I said, pointing. "We are looking for a boat like this." Gabby looked at the name and said, "Jill's Heave Ho. That's a weird name." "It sure is," I said. "Sometimes I think boat owners compete. The weirdest name wins." We continued looking, and when we got to the end and turned around, a thought occurred to me. "We need to go back to that heave-ho boat," I said as I picked up my pace. Gabby raced to catch up to me. "What? What is it?" When we reached the boat, I looked closely at the name and knew I was right. Look at the paint under the J and the ho. Do you see how it is slightly whiter than the surrounding area?" "Oh my God," Gabby said. "Someone changed the name." "Exactly. This is Dr. Bill's boat. It used to be called Bill's Heaven." We both looked around for people near us. I saw an older couple a few boats away, but they were both looking in another direction, so I said, "Come on," and held out my hand. Gabby ignored it and stepped onto the boat. I followed her on. This audiobook continues on the next video. For more information on this book and others by this author, please visit charleshuss.com.